No, it's not. And I think a big part of his gameplay is just going to be trying to control the Sven as much as
10
possible. Once
seconds
he's got
remaining.
BKB, of course, that's going to be a lot more difficult, but just getting that searing chains up, making that whenever a Sven looks to try and join a team fight, you're just trying to hinder him as much as possible. I mean, I don't think there's any flexibility left now on Motivate's lineup. I think it's a Monkey King position 1, Gyro 5, Shadow Demon 4, Ember Spirit mid lane, and you've got your Witch.
Radiant
Masteros with his
team
fresh
ban.
10k, he's going to get
Dire
that last
team
pick.
ban.
Very
Radiant
good.
team ban.
I'll get rid of some of his better heroes though. Slardar, Tide taken care of. We're looking for, I believe, the position 5. I'd like the Lion to be played as a 4. Still banned out the Rubik. What is Trezam? Trezam's been playing a lot of
10 seconds.
unconventional.
Dawnbreaker's God.
Yeah.
He's been playing a bit of the. Well, they banned out the Tide actually. Yeah, I mean, going for the offensive dispel isn't the worst. Just because you're against an Ember Spirit and a Monkey King, who you don't want to get rid of that Jingu once it's procced, and you don't want to get rid of the Flame Guard either. So I feel like the Enchantress is a pretty nice ban there.
10
Oracle's still in the
seconds
pool, but no
remaining.
real amazing heroes to pair it together with.
5
What else
seconds
is
remaining.
left?
I think it has to be someone that it doesn't really care about an Ember being on top of you. Because if you have both supports that then can't take fights with an Ember just having multiple remnants and BKB on top of you, then you're not going to have any impact. So I wonder if they go into a melee like a tree in a way, like just a tree-esque. I don't think they'll pick the tree, but something that can still get ability off if the Ember's on him.
Yeah, no, I can believe that. You know, just something self-sustainable. I mean, the Oracle isn't the worst for that regard, right? Like, even if you've got the you obviously have the offensive dispel, but you've also got the defensive dispel in case of any kind of roots that are in onto you. So
Radiant
it might
team
not be
pick.
the worst. Going
Sand.
Sand King instead, huh? So 5 Mars.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done it once, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's also done the Sand King 5 before, and let me tell you, they're not doing that again. So yeah,
I hope.
10 seconds remaining.
It's a better lane matchup versus the Monkey King, without a doubt.
5
You
seconds
have a lot of
remaining.
magic damage now between the Sand King and the Lion. You just play Mars as a team fight, who again doesn't really care about Ember getting on top of you. So that's the role that I was looking for. And what can you go off lane for Motivate though?
So they'll have to think that this is Lion and probably the Sand King that it's looking to go up against. So double stun, something that is able to withstand through that. But the Tide Hunter's gone, the Mars is gone,
They need a way to
the
start
Abaddon's
fights.
gone. Yeah, they got the Ember Spirit.
You can't just have one in a game of Dota anymore. I think that's not enough. Can't Centaur versus the Mars. Don't see a whole lot of the Axe. The lane could be okay. That wouldn't be too bad.
Night Stalker.
Is Night Stalker still in the pool?
Yeah.
How rough
think
is
it's a
that
pretty
lane?
good Night Stalker
Sven
game.
Mars. It's good against the Mars too, actually. Yeah, you fly out the arena.
Bloodseeker.
Choose your hero.
Not the worst. I mean, you put it onto the Sven and he has to just be locked in place.
I really thought they were going to need someone to start fights. So okay, so what they're going to rupture Sven. Ember's going to jump the Lion. And then you've already taken 2 heroes out of the fight. But you have to worry about Rosé then. And it looks like he's going to have a very good lane versus the Ember. He's going to also cancel out a hero in Shadow Demon. Are you a fan of the Bloodseeker pick here?
It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. I mean, I
10
feel like
seconds
super early
remaining.
on, or hell, even late, the ability to kite around the Sven is a pretty big
5
deal.
seconds
So you can just
remaining.
look to try and avoid him and go for the rest of the lineup. They don't have any big ways, though, on Motivate, right? Like, if Sven gets ruptured, I feel like the rest of the team can just clump in sort of towards him, and you're not really worried that much. I mean, they don't have an insane amount of AoE damage right now on Motivate's lineup. It's actually a 1 Gyrocopter and a 4 Monkey King, shut up with the Shadow Demon. I was thinking that it was going to be Monkey 1 and Shadow Demon 5. I still think that's a totally fine lane, because like it's similar to the Bane setup, right? Where you can just use the disruption to then get the perfect Primal Spring off, set up into the Boundless Strike after that, and then you're probably going to land a few Shadow Poisons in that time as well. So I thought that was a really strong kill lane, but this is much less so for mine, with them now going the Gyrocopter and the Shadow Demon into 2 stuns.
You could have even played the Shadow Demon with the Bloodseeker, banished for the Blood Right setup. I'm a huge fan. I'm a fan of Dreammaker's lineup. They've got a, and stuns just feels easier to execute.
It sounds like you like Dreammaker's draft and you really don't like Motivate's draft.
I am never impressed with a 5 Shadow Demon. I feel like this hero is 4 and strictly only 4. I think he does way too much with farm, and we saw it almost every game in China.
How about mid though?
That's a good question. That is no, that's too much farm, and he doesn't do well with that. No, I don't know how to teeter the line there. That's a little bit too flexible. I just like.
So your questions are: how do they start the fight? What is this Shadow Demon going to do in these team fights? You've got a bad matchup, well, an unfavorable matchup with the Ember Spirit into the Storm Spirit, and the combos don't seem really easy to execute in the laning stage.
Yes. So, with the Monkey King being 4 though, he might give them an opportunity to take their fight selection a lot better than Dreammaker, because they've got at least a hero that can de-push waves at such a high level, which can make it very awkward on how Dire want to start fights. But you've got a Storm, a Lion, a Mars. You have 5 heroes that starts fights on Dire.
Yeah.
But for Radiant, you have an Ember.
Yeah. I feel like the Night Stalker would have been fantastic this game, to be honest. Like if you get the Blink Dagger, or you're even forcing like an early BKB out of the Storm Spirit, once it gets to the later stages of the game, you can lock down a Lion and you can't really do too much about it. You wouldn't have cared about the Arena of Blood, but they opted to go for the Bloodseeker instead. Again, it's the last pick. It's Masaros. He just got his 10k MMR, so I'm sure he's never going to play another ranked game again, just to run the risk of losing it. But yeah, I am faving Dreammaker's draft here. I feel like they're going to be in a pretty commanding position. The one thing that I'm going to be looking out for is, are they going to be able to plant an Observer Ward and get that understanding of what Dreammaker's vision is like around the mid lane? Because if you can enable Q to make a rotation through and kill the Storm Spirit a couple of times before he reaches his level 6, I think, maybe you're going to have a decent time of things.
Okay, so do you feel like the Ember is the way for them to win this game? Like, does Phyllis absolutely just have to pop off?
I think so. I mean, he's master tier. He hasn't played his few extra games. Still level 29 on the Ember Spirit, I believe. Hasn't been able to reach that Grandmaster just yet. But yeah, I think so. I think, again, he's the one that needs to start team fights. He's the one that's going to be controlling up the Sven, because Bloodseeker, eventually you can't just walk up to the Sven, right? He's going to have Blink Dagger. He's going to be the one trying to initiate onto you. So it feels like you're going to need to be very reactionary here on Masaros's Bloodseeker.
Well, only time will tell. Still, hopefully the break is not going to be too long. The boys on Motivate and Dreammaker.
There was a lot of healthy banter in the lobby as well. Of course, never mind having previously stood in for Motivate.Trust when in that period where Masaros was playing for Fnatic. That was around BTS 4, I think, where they had moderate success, but this is really the roster on Motivate.Trust side that is has shown that it's got the capability to be the strongest.
Yeah, without a doubt. They're just, back together, back with the boys, growing in their ranked games and continuing to shine in their competitive games as well. To keep in mind, Motivate, they're currently in 4th position with a 7 and 5 map count. And for the Open Qualifier team in Dreammaker, they are currently in tied 6th position with a 6 to 10 map count. So the Malaysian and also Laosian can to continue on with the solid performances we've seen so far. It gives me confidence as well, knowing that Rose, I mean, he's been exceptional on the Storm Spirit, and now you're giving him a very favorable mid lane matchup.
And you've also got Nevermind playing the Sand King, right? Remember how dominant he was
Oh,
the other day
yeah.
on his performance?
Yep, that was, my god. How how impressive was that performance on Sand King? He actually just won them the game pretty much.
He absolutely did. I hope Motivate don't go for any kind of rune invade or anything like that. It seems like they're just trying to scout out if anyone looks to come forward and try and check for any sort of D-ward, and
30
then maybe try and
seconds to
get
battle.
the surprise move onto them, but you cannot walk into this many stuns.
So maybe Motivate have a way to overwhelm Dreammaker. Like, do you feel like they have an earlier game timing where you could just put the pedal to the metal and aren't as worried about items as Dyro?
I feel like Sand King's going to be doing a pretty decent job to delay that, though, right? Like,
The battle
Nevermind
begins.
should be able to get enough out of the laning stage that he could just set himself up, max out the Sandstorm, and stand towards the back of it. Again, they have a rough time with starting these fights on Motivate, so as long as they're set up towards the flanks with the rest of the heroes on Dreammaker, I feel like they should be just fine.
Or at least they'll enable Fearless a little bit, blocking up Rosé's small camp, but the big issues here with the Ember Storm matchup is just the damage that Storm can do with all the magical. Like, even though I do wonder though if it's a little bit better now because of the change to the Flame Guard absorption.
Yeah.
So like, because I have seen Ember have a little bit better time in the laning stage than what I was really expecting, and like 30, it doesn't look like a lot on paper, but that's 2 spells now, I believe, right?
Yeah, so 110 absorb, you're doing 120 with the static remnant, but of course you've got the base 25% magic resist on heroes, so it's not enough to be able to get through that flame guard super early on. So you're spending a lot more mana to be able to sustain yourself in lane. See, now these level 2 on Rosé, it's a little bit easier, but he's taken a lot of HP loss as a result.
We'll have bot at least coming out for him, but yeah, I'm actually really intrigued to see more Storm Ember matchups and how much this will affect him with that Flame Guard absorption being a little bit different at the early levels. But we take a look at some of the side lanes. Top for Mastros and Chidori. Really feels like they love giving Chidori just a hero that can flash farm. Like, it's always the the Clinks, the Gyro. We've seen the Luna, the Sven now. Heroes that can still farm stacks even though the nerfs were there.
Just a little bit of the setup, I suppose. You know, if Trezam gets out of position, you've got the Boundless Strike into the Blood Right to be able to potentially get the kill onto him there. I mean, if you time it perfectly, you're not going to be able to get the spear off to be able to protect yourself. So, I mean, it's possible that they could look to try and come out of this laning stage with a good advantage, but you've also got the potential that you can just get speared back underneath your tower, for example, if you're out of position.
For the bottom lane, Jackie. So they flex the Gyrocopter, put him as a 1. And we'll see how he's looking to itemize and skill build this game as well. We've seen a lot of the 0-1-1, sorry, 0-1-4, and a lot of points in the stats, even just the 0-4-4, and putting a little bit more priority in the homing missile maxed out instead of going for stats. So does feel like though that the flak cannon has really been the kind of the trend so far through the groups.
I think not necessarily into this lineup though. Like you probably don't want to be getting up in Sand King's face. It's gonna be a little bit difficult for him. What are you doing on stream looking at player cards? You're looking at RTC's gold card during the pause.
I'm just making sure everyone knows who the best position 1 is.
Bro, you got Chidori and Jackie right here.
You're right. But I didn't have their card, so that's
You are too slow.
that's not my
Hard
fault.
to get their card with the situation at the moment.
Well, next year we can have them up on screen, that their gold tier card. Maybe we can somehow get a platinum tier. Oof, they can be the few lucky runners up.
Yeah, and we'll have how many is the maximum?
Never reach
13
your
C
school
teams
forgiven.
at TI, and then just the rest coming through the regionals.
CU, of course, will reign supreme. No one comes close. like we saw through the qualifiers. I mean, we can't beat around the bush. That was definitely by far the most contested qualifiers by any region.
It was the most entertaining as well, not just the most contested. So many games going 60+ minutes. Absolute bloodbath. Teams that are very highly favored, like Motivate, going out a little earlier than expected. I think they got 8th. So,
well, bottom lane, here's our first blood. Pro set 0. With a double stun, it's a bit of issues, and up the top will go as Q's also in trouble. I'm gonna try and give him some protection with the Blood Riot. It's actually forcing Chidori further and further back under the tower, and MG.Trust is more than content with being able to dive, and he's also going to look for Trezam as well as a block off the escape through the tree line, and simultaneously, Fearless is also dying in the mid lane, so we got a bloodbath all of a sudden.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
one of the bonuses, you can actually look at the fight recap because of everything happening at the same time across here. A big part of that was due to the rotation coming through
Radiant's
there
middle
from
tower is
CCY
under
into the
attack.
mid lane, making sure he's able to pick that one up. That gives Rose his level 6 as well. So even now with the potential rotation coming through from the Monkey King, it's not going to be quite as impactful, and they've also been able to build up a couple of stacks here as well for the Sven or the Storm Spirit to take early on. I'm surprised how much MG.Trust has gotten out of this lane, though. He's making a lot of use out of that last pick. He's 1,200 gold ahead of Chidori.
Okay, well, Fearless just... Wow, couple remnants there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That's a big kill to find, considering I thought there was going to be a big advantage now that they got the first kill mid lane for Storm in a favorable matchup. Yeah, I wonder what we're going to see from MG.Trust here on the Bloodseeker. If they feel like they need an ATOS to help control the Storm Spirit, or if we can go for a little bit different itemization. It won't be enough to protect Q this time. He's still looking at man fight with the 0-2-2. He's already got treads as well, so he's really farm. Bottom lane, never mind. TP! Just get away from Buster.
And they even show the power runes being denied now as well on the left side of the map.
Oh yeah, I see.
Very nice. Nice little features looking to come through here. I'm sure he certainly wasn't expecting that death on Rose. You know, just the aggressive movement. Oh,
wait. Tell me this is true. Hang on, I'll find out in a couple of seconds. Just hold on.
Stupendous.
No! You know how annoying it is? I don't want the bottled bounty or whatever to show. Oh, hold that thought. Chidori. A bit of trouble up top. Are they gonna do this? MG.Trust is like, Q? You with me, brother? Come on. Where's the dives? Let's go. I'm ready to rock and roll. He's still going.
gotta be careful there. He's constantly shifting around his treads, just seeing if he would eventually have enough mana to launch out that Storm Hammer, but not gonna be the case.
So always, I'm like, when I want to see... You don't
like seeing the double?
Yeah, I don't like seeing the double. It's just like, you know, I'm trying to go through the summary on the left, see what's happening with the bounties or anything, and I'm just like counting through, and I'm like, wait, have they got 2, 3? Somehow they have 7 bounties? What's going on?
Just a lot of junk, basically.
Yeah.
A lot of spam, a lot of filler.
Got me excited for a second. It's okay.
Can't have that.
No. I was excited. Is Rose? He's playing with fire right now, and he's dead for it.
Maybe he got a little bit more confident because he was holding on to the Possess Mask, and he was thinking, you know what, this 7 HP each time I attack is going to be pretty good at keeping me alive. But a couple of times there, Fearless was able to use the Sleight of Fist to just keep himself alive, you know, making sure that right click didn't actually land onto him.
Shazam, he was trying to soak up a little bit of experience up top, but maybe the spirits of the TP, in fact. Beautifully done. Also looking for a setup on Fearless. Maybe the zip can start on Rose. Fearless is very deep underneath the tier 1 tower, and luckily enough with the Flame Guard to absorb and Set Zero showing up, they won't have a way to clean off the Ember Spirit, but these lanes, they're going a lot better than what I was expecting here from Motivate, a 2,000 net worth lead.
Even Rose Rosé getting bullied a little bit there. Set Zero doing a good job of protecting the Observer Ward, and Q coming in and cleaning it up as well. So yeah, across the board, it's about what is it, a 1,000 net worth lead for each of the cores. Looking to change things though with Chidori. He's been forced back to the jungle. Doesn't have the greatest points in the greater cleave though.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They got any stacks for him at the
Dire's top
moment?
tower is under attack.
Rosé just took the hard camp, but they've still got the ancient stack.
Okay. Well, but they had a possessed mask too, right?
Dire's
Or
top
Rosé's
tower
holding
is
that.
under
Huh.
He's still got it for some reason.
I mean,
He's got the mask
Dire's
now, so
structures are fortified.
not too bad, but got to be careful about dropping too low as well, right? You've got Masaros here, number 2 on the net worth. He's dropped down below Jackie, but I'm sure he doesn't mind too much about that. His
Dire's
attack
top
speed,
tower
movement speed
is
is just going to
under
be
attack.
increased even further.
and all the meanwhile,
Dire's top tower has fallen.
we've seen how much farm that the Gyro's been getting. So he's gone 0-4, 1 point in attributes at the moment. And he's got Dragonlance already, more than likely working to the Aghanims, you feel like? Or does he need something like an early BKB just to try and ramp up this game in? I do with the Ags.
I like the Ags just because, you know, A, it enables you to farm. B, they've got a lot of stuns on Dreammaker, so there's plenty of ways to still be getting some kind of lifesteal in these team fights, or even just dealing some damage. So I feel like it's going to be, you know, that BKB, maybe an SNY even on top of that.
Does seem to be, with the difference he's got in 1,600 net worth at the moment, and Nevermind's in trouble down bottom. It hasn't been as successful as a game as they were hoping, like we saw previously. The top outpost will swing over to us. Trezam, we locked into place thanks to the Rupture and Wukong's no escape there, and you see just the crowd control that Motivated are able to gain here.
They're just outmaneuvering them straight up. You know, the laning stage going incredibly well for them, particularly Masaros on that top side, bullying Chidori out. They've taken the tower already, and it makes a lot of the movements now from Dreammaker incredibly predictable. Mask of Madness picked up is going to help accelerate his farm somewhat, but he's still sitting last on net worth right now.
They really need to find this Sand King blink. I mean, he's about to have it completed. Then Dreammaker can start making plays across the map. Do they have the damage with finger? Well, they will.
Dire's top tower
Okay, well, there's your blink. Just a little bit too overzealous on the Ember.
Bit too fearless.
Yes. You could say so. Say the Sand King is just a god tier player. If you want to go down that route. At least he's got blink now completed, so again we'll start to see a lot of the plays come through from the Sand King. We'll give them a great way to protect this tier 1 tower that I don't think Radiant were really worried about taking, because they don't have the greatest sieging lineup early, and they're looking to just continue to make a lot of space here. By doing that, it'll be Q and Setzer trying to smoke, but simultaneously
Masaros is a good target though. Blink reveal, even with the epicenter charger. Oh no!
Masaros? He's still gonna die.
He'll die.
Okay, well they do get Chidori down
He'll
bot.
die.
Will he die? Oh, he's still alive.
Okay. He had the hood in the active, and I think he even had a fairy fire still from the lane because he hadn't been forced to pop it.
Well, the big kill nonetheless was on Chidori. Another stun off the mark, Trezam. He's gonna try and turn it back around. They've also forced away Set Zero, so he's got to be more worried about his own life right now. Two split fights at the moment as Lion's gonna go down by the triangle, and Rosé, he doesn't have enough mana to gap close on Set Zero, so the Shadow Team are just laughing himself away as now the assistants will start to jump in as they're gonna try and target down Rosé. The stunlock needs to be perfect, and it is, and even Masaros getting involved as well after the death previously. He'll try and get some revenge on Nevermind. Now they can look back to Trezam with the Rupture. There's no escape, as like you were saying, Motivate are just playing this game 1 to perfection, and they are making so many fast-paced movements.
Dire's bottom tower is under
The
attack.
lane's just gone far too well for Motivate. I think, and put them into this position. And you know, you talked about the threat of being run over super early on. I was like, you know, it's there, but you're probably not going to have a good enough laning stage to make it happen. But you know, the fact that they've been able to pull this one out completely turns things on its head. Now, of course, with the gyrocopter even continuing to scale, he can show up at team fights. He's only one item component away from that Aghanim Scepter as well, considering you can disassemble the Dragon Lance. He's going to continue pushing on forward, and
Rosé's a big kill, and they're going to find it before the Orchid picked up. It's another timing they were needing for Dreammaker just to maybe bring themselves back into this. I mean, Radiant just, with how they can continue to run across the map now. I mean, they're about to go for the BKBs as next item. Are we in?
Just getting a free little D ward off there by Jackie, so more experience going his way. I mean, is it something as simple as just individual skill coming through? Because Motivate, they're very highly skilled players, you know, all of them top 50 on the ranks. So it is something that's a little worrisome to be able to go against, I suppose. It's not like they're slackers either on Dreammaker, you know, they're all sitting probably top 100, 150, but sometimes that can be the big difference there.
Yeah, you can definitely put it down to that. No doubt about it, with how Motivated just, yeah, the skill they've shown at the moment in game one, and they're looking to continue on too. A smoke wrapping around. Nevermind's in a position to try and protect the tower, but they'll have to push him back further away. And I love this observe ward behind the tower too. They're going to scout at the rotation, so they're well aware that CZY is nearby. Smoke up, but where's the angle into the fight? Someone needs to bait for them to set up for the epicenter, because they're not clumped up at the moment from Motivate, so the tower's gonna go down. Never mind. He'll actually start with the bow, gets a connection onto multiple heroes. The arena dropped as well, but Q, he'll answer back instantly with the Wukongs, give him some form of control through the team fight and survivability. They can barely kill off anyone. Set Zero scurries away, and now with how weak Dreammaker are, it's gonna enable MG.Trust to dive deeper and deeper. They'll get the line simultaneously. They'll lose out on the Mars and may as well just make it a full 5-man wipe, as Rosé is back inside debate. But Motivate, the name of the game, it's no fear from them.
Man, they're just, I was stunned that they weren't able to take out that many people. You know, chain stun into chain stun. Even Rosé getting in onto the backlines, making sure the Orchid was popped onto the Shadow Demon, but they didn't even end up needing it. The damage was just insane, and it's all down to how farmed up MG.Trust is at this early stage of the game. He's got his pipe ready. He looked to pop that Q. He's gone into the Mage Slayer as well. So not only are you know, resisting a lot of the magic damage that they're doing, but you're also preventing a lot of the magic damage that the enemy team is doing.
I mean, the fact that the Ember is already level 14, so all his abilities are maxed out. They're just chain locking perfectly. And I thought this was going to be a much easier Storm game. I thought they were really going to lack some ways to deal with him, but his lane just...
Thanks be to you.
Do we want to say it didn't go as well as expected? Because Fearless did solo kill. Q.
I mean, I wouldn't have expected that, so yeah, probably it was it was that sort of thing. And that was even after the kill that came through from the Lion, right?
Yeah.
So he got him a really early level 6 on the Storm Spirit, and I think he just got a little bit cocky with the Possessed Mask there on Rosé, and it's just snowballed further and further. Like, Q is nearly as farmed as Sand King and Storm Spirit. Pinging him out. He's walking around underneath this here. Oh, misses a rare one with a boundless strike there.
And now it reveals their position, because Dreammaker are coming. At least the Wukongs once again giving them some control around the rings of the Gladiators. And instantly Dreammaker, they have to think otherwise about taking the fight because they're getting overwhelmed. It's just a flood of heroes and abilities running through them. Never mind.
Trying to go in again. I don't know about this though. I mean, they're all clumped up in the same space.
Okay.
He breaks him down from the trees, trying to bait in a movement so
That's
that
a
epicenter
big
lands.
epi, but again, they haven't found set zero, so the banishment from afar will give enough time for Q to turn with the boundless strike, which just enables Jackie to go to work. All the AoE damage will make it 5.
This is call it territory right now. I think even a Sven isn't able to come back from this kind of deficit
He's got no
super
space.
early on.
Is under attack.
I mean, he's half the net worth.
Well, I was saying maybe Shadow Demon 5 won't get items. Apparently, set zero's got a blink.
Great item as well
Yeah.
to be able to pick up just so that you're nowhere near the team fight. And I was about to say before that broke out, Shadow Demon is the one that you need to be focusing every single one of these, because in the past 2 team fights now,
Dire's top
as long as
tower
they,
has fallen.
you know, don't hit the Shadow Demon with any kind of silence or stuns, he's gonna save the main target. And he's done that. You know, it's been fearless. He was able to pop the pipe again and be able to survive through that initial burst.
Oh, we'll see what Dai can do. They are aware that Roche is going on. They do not have Epi for 50, nor God Strength as well. So it looks like they have to give this up for free, but
Radiant are scanning.
I mean, it feels like you're just accepting death.
All right. Let me think. What's the game plan? What's going to bring them back in?
Radiant's middle tower is under
Well,
attack.
Sand King's level 12, so that's going to help with a little bit more damage out of the epicenter. As much of a waste as it might be, you gotta kill that Shadow Demon. As we see the smoke indicators pop on the top side.
Thank you, Daddy Gavin. Our lives so much easier. Potsy is even going Aghanims too, which is
Why
surprising.
not?
Dire
I
are
guess-
scanning.
He's farmed enough.
Who's your second target?
I mean, they've just been using it on the Mars a lot of the time. I think they don't really care. Using the pipe there to make sure that the creep wave is able to sustain itself for a long time.
Bonded, you and I.
Never mind, we'll need some assistance.
Radiant's bottom tower
Jackie's
is
now
under
going to pop the
attack.
DD.
Dire's
Start to go to
middle
work on the
tower has fallen.
objectives. And they are just trading a
Dire's
tier 2
middle
tower down bot.
barracks
That's
are under attack.
God Strength used too. So it looks like they have no thoughts about defending.
I mean, if you're motivated, I don't think you need to get greedy and go back for this. You know, it's a free lane of racks.
Dire's middle barracks
Probably a
has
second
fallen.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, without God Strength to be contending
Radiant's
against,
bottom tower is
Chidori has to
under
be very
attack.
careful with his positioning. Doesn't have a Blink Dagger or the BKB, and he's stuck underneath a
Dire's
tier
top
3 tower.
is under attack.
He's got Mars nearby. Maybe they can spear into TP.
Of course.
Feels a bit too late.
Rose.
Rose's actually going to zip on forward. Are they going to turn it back around here on Fearless? They will.
Was well done.
What do you lose in the
Okay.
meantime? It's just the second set of racks.
Dire's top
And
barracks
any
has fallen.
TPs? Nope. They have to go all the way back to base, and by the time they do that, Raindrax is gone.
Still have ages for another 3 minutes. They're going to zap down the first life. They won't even do that. Such a low level on the line. Look at the priority. I'll drop down the Wukongs just to protect the round 2. And again, all the AoE control to really mitigate the Trezam ultimate.
To retain the melee racks up top, but I don't think Motivate are really caring right now. They might look to wait for Fearless to be back alive so they can TP in and join the rest of the boys, but other than that, there's no real reason to look to try and back off.
Looking for me?
I mean, what are we close to here on the Sven? Okay, BKB just needs a recipe. Rose looking for his own BKB as well. They are not going to get it before this push occurs. They'll try and blow up the Gyrocopter here. The pipe, they needed to keep him alive, and order come through just in the nick of time to allow Jackie to pop the BKB, and this one is looking like she's all over and done with. They've got buybacks, and they can't get the set of barracks down bot. The open qualified teams have never been given up too early, but with Chidori falling outside the base, they'll even call it before he dies.
Absolute dominance in the laning stage that I was not expecting, and I'm sure that Dreammaker with their lineup as well, they would have felt pretty happy with things, with the amount of ways that they're able to start fights, but yeah, for whatever reason, they were just allowed to walk up to them, land a rupture onto a target, and Dreammaker, instead of leaving the likes of Trezam to die, they just collapsed around. And yeah, because of how the laning stage went, they didn't have the firepower to try and make any sort of counterattack.
Yeah, it really felt like that, didn't it? Just the effect of the lanes put them in quite the slump here for Dreammaker, where we saw they were trying to make some attempts off the back of the Blink Dagger that was picked up eventually from Nevermind, but they didn't get enough out of that. We didn't see enough come out of the Orchid timing on Rosé. I feel like I have to look back at the Ember Storm matchup as well, with the difference with the kind of level changes in the Flame Guard. I wonder if that's going to make at least the matchup a little bit more favorable. But the fact that Motivate just have solid lanes, he's kind of messing around about Fearless hitting 10k, and he's probably in a good mood today. Just give him a hero that he's going to shine on. Give him the 24th pick and did I say Fearless or Masteros? I meant Masteros if I did.
You said Fearless, but it's Masteros.
Yeah, I meant Masteros, sorry.
Fearless is 10k as well, and they've got an intense rivalry between the two of them. So it's something that I'm sure will continue. The banters will continue, and the series will continue with game number 2 coming up shortly. Hopefully, for Dreammaker's sake, they're able to put together a bit more of a competitive performance, because I'm sure they'll be disappointed with that one.
Yeah, again, they're needing at least a map victory to make sure they have an opportunity to make it into the lower bracket. Otherwise, if they drop 0-2, then anything can happen with Neon and Army Geniuses in their last 2 series as well. So for Dreammaker, they want to don't leave the hopes in the other teams. Just make sure they secure their spot today, and then they'll be happy and they can sleep easy. But we'll find out as our second game will be underway shortly.